So today's video is all about pricing, how to price your item. So you really want to make sure you're pricing your item correctly, because if you price it too high, no one's going to buy it. Price it too low, you're going to lose out on profit. Now there's really that fine balance between, picking the right price. And sometimes we get sentimental about our items and we might price too high, and that really can hurt our revenue, obviously. But there's a couple, specific things that I do that help me price my items, and it works. And so I want to share that with you. Now, first of all, obviously, if you are in a rush to sell something, you got to have a lower price. If you really don't care and you don't mind it sitting there on Poshmark for a year and you want this certain price, well then, that's fine, more power to you. So, fast sales require a little bit lower, and if you don't mind, then just keep that price high and get the profit that you want. So, when I have an item, and I'm going to actually use one as an example, I have this beautiful Tory Burch new of tag silk blouse that my mom bought me. And it's flawless. There's nothing wrong with it. The retail price is $288. I really like it. I'm probably not going to actually sell this, but I'm using it as an example. So we're going to look at that. The first thing we want to do is we want to look at comps. Now, what I do is I go onto Poshmark and I search for the item. This is a Tory Burch Jackie blouse, but sometimes if you search too specific, then you're not really going to get the range that you need. So I'm just going to do Tory Burch blouse, and I'm going to go and pick on the sort by. I'm going to do just in. So those are the newest ones. And then I'm going to scroll all the way to the right of the app, and under the filter, I'm going to say new of tags, and I'm going to say under the availability, I'm going to say sold. Now this will pop up all of the sold Tory Burch blouses. And since I did just in, the ones at the top should be the newest ones, because if you do a filter on like low to high or high to low, you might have things that are like 10 years old or 5 years old, so that's not really going to be helpful. And you're just going to scan through and you're going to look at things that look similar to the item you're selling. So for my blouse, it's silk, it's colorful, it's fairly new season, and it's long sleeve, it's button down. So I'm going to scroll through, I'm going to look for ones that are like that. I did do this in advance. So when I was looking through it, I saw some that were sold for $175, saw some for $65, $195, $50, $75, and then I saw my exact same one sold for $398. However, when I looked at the listing, they were selling the matching skirt and the blouse, so I would chop that one in half and just say $200. So that, that gives me a good range of kind of some low and some high. You really want to look at the average and the high and the low. But again, don't do those sortings by low to high, because those listings could be old. Now, the second place you can look is Google. So if you search for the Tory Burch blouse, usually Poshmark, actually, because they pay for ads, Poshmark listings will come up. eBay listings will come up, stores will come up if they're still selling it in stores, and so if you scan through that, you can sometimes see the price, or you may have to click on it. But I did that, and I saw some that were selling quite high. In fact, on eBay, I saw some that were selling for about $350, and then of course I saw some Poshmark listings that weren't quite the same as my blouse. They were short sleeve and selling for a little bit lower, but that gave me a little bit more data to make my decision. The other thing you can do if you have the eBay app is you can search for your item on eBay, and eBay sells so many things. I mean, people are buying and selling every second, and it's global, so there's a lot more volume than Poshmark. So this might be a good way to search for comps if you can't find your item on Poshmark or a similar one. So go to eBay, search for your item, all the stuff that's for sale will pop up, and I did see a lot of mine for sale on there. I think there was like 4 all selling for $239. random. But then you're going to go to filter, and you're going to scroll all the way down. You might even have to click like a expand arrow to go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to hit the slider sold. And it's going to do the same thing that Poshmark did. It's going to show you all the sold listings, and it will be sorted from recent already. And you can just take a quick look and see what things actually sold for. This is also a really great thing to do when you're sourcing. So before you buy something, whether it's at Goodwill or TJ Maxx or some of the other really secretive shops or online sites that I shop at, which I will tell you in my next video, this is a good thing to do before you buy it, because then you can figure out, okay, well, this is how much I can sell it for probably, minus the 20% fee. Is it really worth it? You know, it's got to be worth it. So if you're selling something and, you know, if you forget about the fee, or you forget about having to claim it on your taxes or whatnot, then, you know, you could be losing money. So I really find this crucial to having a profitable business. The next way of pricing your item, and these are all kind of different ways, but you can kind of look at it as a whole once you have the whole picture. So the second way is to use the retail price. That's pretty easy. If it's not new with tags, you can find the retail price online. Luckily, this one is new with tags, and it has the $288 price tag on there. So if it's new with tags, my guideline or rule of thumb is that you should probably sell it about 60 to 50% of retail. Now, I know that sounds kind of low, and you know, you might be taking a loss, but maybe you got that item on sale, or you bought it at a special website that is way cheaper. And hopefully you're making a profit by that. So I did the calculation on this one. It's new with tags, so 60% is $172.80. And that really lines up with some of the comps that I already checked on eBay and Poshmark. So that means that I'm kind of in line. I'm looking at the right price. Let's say it was used. If it was used, we'd be doing 40 to 20%. And that would come out to, for this particular item, the $288 retail price, it would go to $115 to $57.60. Now, I know that is a big range, but that depends on, you know, you, really. How quickly do you want to sell it? You know, what does it look like? Is it in demand? That sort of thing. If it's new without tags, then I would suggest listing it for 50 to 40% of retail. So those are my my guidelines. I'm going to pop this up on the video so that you guys don't have to remember it. But yeah, and then there's a couple other things, right? So the other search that I would recommend is searching the current listings. So I know that, you know, we've seen all the sold listings. Searching the current listings is not as important, because just because someone has it selling for a high price or a great price doesn't mean it's going to sell for that. So take that with a grain of salt, but it does allow you to see your competition. If a bunch of people are selling that same exact item for really cheap, well, you know, the customer is going to buy those first, and you might have trouble pricing it the way you want to price it. If there's absolutely nothing like it, then that's good news. And if there's a few and they're selling for a high price, then that's also good news. Then there's two other kind of triggers that I use. So, or multipliers or detractors, whatever you want to call it. I would increase the price 5 to 10% for really on-trend and in-season items. You could also increase it more if it's extremely rare, sold out, like a blogger's fave, a capsule collection, you know, like some of these sneakers that literally you just can't buy after drop day. You know, you could increase that differential by more than 5 to 10%, but that's kind of like a good benchmark. So let's say I was going to do this blouse at the $172.80 because it's new of tags, and then I personally think it's, you know, on trend and in demand, so I would add an extra 5 to 10%. So adding 10%, I'd be adding about $17. So that would pop it up. Now on the flip side, you also want to be careful about inspecting all of your items really, really carefully, because I don't know how many of you have been in the boat where, you know, you sold an item, you had it in storage, you take it out and you see a flaw and you're just like, oh my God, no, what happened? Luckily over the years, I've been able to kind of grab this arsenal of things that I use to try to fix flaws if they're minor, you know, stain remover or, you know, needle and thread and just like a ton of different things. I'll just show you one little thing. These are some Louboutins, and you can see how horrible and nasty they are, and they're just really worn. They're missing a lot of the studs. I mean, this happens like right after you wear them, but yeah, the bottom's all messed up. So I'm actually going to restore these to like brand new. I have the special walk-on paint. I have ordered the studs. I'm going to wash them and just repair them. I already took off the heel caps, but I'm going to put brand new ones on. So, you know, there's a lot of things you can do with flaws. But yeah, so back to that. So with the pricing, if you store your items well, hopefully there's no surprises at the end. But in the beginning, if you are selling something, even if it's new with tags and it has a little flaw, I say make sure that you point it out. What I usually do is I'll use my markup function on my phone, and I will circle it in like a red circle or put like a red arrow, and then I'll say on the listing, you know, has flaw, see last pick. And I disclose everything, no matter how minor. Even if you can't see it in the pictures, I will blow that up and like really show it, because that's the kind of buyer I would be. Like, I would be really disappointed if I spent some money on a shirt and I got it and there was like a rip or a tear or, you know, stain. That would really bum me out. And I'm very competitive, I guess you could say, and also very much of an overthinker. And so those kind of things just, they just drive me crazy. So I really want my customers to be happy, and I want to get 5 stars. So I disclose everything. It's just better. It's just better to do that, less stress. So if you have a flaw, I would decrease 5 to 30%. And that depends on what kind of flaw it is. Can it be fixed? Is it noticeable? Is it like inside the shirt somewhere hidden, or is it, you know, front and center? And then also when you're looking at used, remember we had the guideline of 40 to 20% of retail. If it's really used, maybe you don't even want to sell it on Poshmark. Maybe you want to go to drop it off at the Goodwill for a donation, or send it into ThreadUp. But let's say you're going to sell it. I would, for significant wear, you might want to go all the way up to 30%, you know? But that, again, is a judgment call, and it's up to you. And as long as you disclose everything, then it's perfectly fine to sell something with flaws. Okay, so that is kind of the overall strategy I use when pricing. Now, you do have to have some kind of, you know, instinct. So, like, you know, when you're looking at the Poshmark listings, if it's something that's just, you know, way different, it's different material, it's older, doesn't look as cute, then, you know, you could adjust up and down. And then sometimes, you know, I know that this is sold out. Like, people are selling it online, but you cannot buy it in the store anymore. And so, you know, I might price it a little bit higher, especially if I don't need to sell it. But you should also do a little tiny bit of a buffer above what you're going to sell it for, so that you have room for offers and discounts. So don't forget that. So I will post this throughout the way, and also as an infographic so that you guys can see it. And I'm going to let you in on one other little hint. And that is an app that can kind of do all of this for you. And it's free. So stay tuned. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Hang on. I'm back. So the app that you can use that can help you do a lot of this is called Sellhound. So that's the app. So if you look for that on the App Store, what you're going to do is you're going to type your item in right here. and hit enter. And then it's going to come up with comps. You can do new or used, and you're going to have to give it a little, a few seconds so it can kind of gather everything for you. But it looks at things like Poshmark, it looks at Mercari, it looks at eBay, it looks at Grailed, it also looks at GameFlip, which always has really random stuff in it, so I disregard that. And it's just a really cool, easy way to search comps. So, condition, click, not or my mouse is not connected to my laptop, so I was trying to shut it down by clicking my laptop mouse that is not working. Okay, see you in a second.